Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to take a look at how we can customize the viewports inside 3ds Max. Viewport is where we're going to spend a lot of time modifying objects, manipulating objects and all other fun stuff. By default 3ds Max comes with a quad view, which means we have 4 different views like top view, front, left and perspective view. But we can change that how these windows are laid out and how objects are in the viewports, or how objects look in the viewport, and we can customize a lot of stuff. So let's take a look at a few of them in this video. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to enable the viewport layout tabs. So to enable that, just go to your main toolbar and right click on an empty spot and then select viewport layout tabs, and this will enable this bar here. Just click on this arrow here and this will open up this preset menu here, and you can pick all of the different layouts. So we have lots of different. I'm going to select this one here, and you can see as I selected that my layout is completely changed. I have a perspective window on the right and 3 different views on the left side here. Alright, so you can add pretty much all of these windows or the preset on this bar here. So if I add this one here, you can see that the layout has changed once again. And once you added the layout to this bar here, then you can switch between them very easily by clicking on them. So you can go between all of these windows here really easily. And if you want to delete an window or the tab from here, you can right click on it and then just click on delete tab, and this will delete that window from this bar but not from the preset browser here. Alright. And one thing that I should mention here is that currently you can see I have this yellow kind of outline around this viewport here, which means this viewport is currently in focus. I can change the focus by simply clicking on other viewport here. So just by clicking I can change the focus, and for the focus just example we're using this one at this point. So if we just kind of use any keyboard shortcut or something, that will affect this viewport here. Alright. Now we're going to take a look at a few of other options that we can use to change how objects look in the viewport. So I'm going to create few primitives by selecting this tool here, box tool, and then just simply clicking and dragging out, and then just kind of dragging up to create the height. And I'm going to create a sphere here, cylinder. Alright, so now we have these objects here. We can change that how these look in the viewport. So if I click on this realistic quad here, this will open this menu here. From this menu we can change how these objects look. So currently realistic, we can change that to shaded, and the shaded is pretty much same but a little less realistic. And then we have these other modes that you can check out. So we have lots of different bounding boxes will show just the outer borders or the cube outlines, as you can see here. And we have this wireframe here which we can use to see the wireframe. Alright, and you can try with all of this different menus here, and then we have these lightings and all of the other stuff, and we're gonna go through a few of these as we go through the course, but you can check out and play around with the different modes here. Alright, and we can change how the view look here. For example, currently we are in perspective window or the view here, but if you click on the word perspective, we have all of the different views, and we can change this viewport to a different angle. For example, if I select top, I can change this view to the top, and I can go back to the perspective, and we have keyboard shortcuts or hotkeys that you can use, and you can see that next to each of the command. Alright, great. Now I'm going to click on this plus icon here, or and you can click on the plus icon in any viewport. This will open up the same window or this dialog here. So then I'm going to go ahead and select configure viewports, and this will open up the settings here, and we're going to focus on a visual style and appearance tab, and then we're going to focus on this layout tab. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch to the layout tab, and you can see that I have this window here, and these are the same layouts that we saw on the preset browser here, and we can switch between different layouts. So if I select this one here and then hit apply, this will be applied, and I cannot make changes until this or while this window is open, so I have to click OK, and then if I want to move objects around or do something like that, I can do that. And I'm going to switch back here, and one other thing that we can do in this layout window is that you can see that currently this big window is perspective, but if I right click on it, I can change the view So something like top or anything that I might like. So I'm going to click apply here, and then I'm going to go back here to the visual style and appearance tab. In this tab we have a few different options that you can check out, like lighting and shadows, quality, visual style, and all other fun stuff. But we're going to focus on this selection section here. So I'm going to select this option here, shade selected objects, and then I'm going to click this apply to active view. This is basically going to apply this to currently focused view, but if we click on this apply to all views in the active layout tab, this will apply to all of the viewports. So you can select either one that you might like. So we have currently this one focus. If we click on this button here, this is going to affect just this view, and this will affect all of the views. Alright, so shaded selected objects will work inside the wireframe. So let me show you what I mean. So if I just click OK here, and you can see that they currently so just clicking on this home button will reset the camera here. Alright, so you can see that currently these objects are wireframe, but if I click on one to select it, it will be shaded. So that's the option that we enable. By default, when you select an object, it remains a wireframe, but we enable the shaded object. So when we click on an object, it will be shaded. Alright, so I'm going to click again on the plus sign, configure viewports, and disable this function here. This time I'm going to enable this selection brackets, and then I'm going to apply it to all views and select OK. Alright, now if I select object, this is going to work only inside the shaded mode. So I'm going to click on this wireframe here and select the realistic. Alright, so if I select object now, you can see that I have these brackets around an object. So this will work on all objects. Alright, once again going back to the plus sign, configure viewports, and disable this. But what I'm interested in is this display selected with edged faces. So I'm going to select this option here and apply to all views and select OK. Now if I select this object, you can see that I have these lines or these edges here. So this will tell me how dense the object is, and I like this behavior, but if you don't, you can disable that. But this will show how dense the model is, and we're going to take a look at what density of model is in upcoming videos. Alright, so I'm going to enable this function. And one other thing that you might notice is that if you hover your cursor on an object, you get this outline or this bright yellow outline. This is called pre-selection highlight, and you can disable that if you want. And one other thing that you can see, if I select an object, object is or has a outline, a light blue outline around it. So this is selection and pre-highlight selections, so you can change that if you don't like these options. I'm going to leave this on, but if you don't want, you can go to the customize menu, select preferences, and from preferences you can come to the viewports, and here we have that option, selection preview highlights. You can enable that or disable that. Alright, so I'm going to click OK here in this case. So these are the few basics ways to change the viewport layouts and how objects look in the viewport. We just scratched the surface. There's a lot more. Definitely I cannot go through all of them, but you can check that out on your own, or you can go to the Maya documentation website and check every piece of function there. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions or problems, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.